Hello. Yes, last night I watched Sleepy Hollow. I hadn't watched this movie since I think it first came out, so like a long time ago, and I didn't know if I was gonna like it. Because back then I remember vaguely liking it, but it's not like I remembered all that much aside from Christopher Walken screaming. So I decided to rewatch it. This is part of my October spooky themed watch and read month thing that I'm doing. So yeah, let's just get into Sleepy Hollow. It's directed by Tim Burton, and it's a very Tim Burton movie. It's what you could expect from Tim Burton. Danny Elfman did the score, and you've got, of course, Johnny Depp being Johnny Depp. But there's a lot of really good names attached to this movie. Like, you've got Christina Ricci, who is, by the way, the most beautiful woman on earth. Like, what the hell? She's so pretty. Michael Gambon's in it, who I have beef with, but that's for another video. Richard Griffiths. There's just, a lot of good people have worked on this movie. Obviously, it was based on the book, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. The story is, there's this guy called Ichabod, which is, by the way, one of my favorite names. I love the name Ichabod. I would name my kid Ichabod. He is a kind of police person, detective type of person. He is sent to Sleepy Hollow because there have been murders going on there. Ichabod is a very sciencey guy. He doesn't believe in magic and witchcraft and all that stuff. When he gets there, he is told that this is not just your regular old murderer, it's actually the Headless Horseman, which is this ghost guy who comes back from the dead and chops people's heads off. Of course, Ichabod doesn't believe this, and he decides to investigate with his scientific methods. He also meets a girl named Katrina, played by Christina Ricci, and she's the daughter of a wealthy businessman called Mr. Van Tassel. There's all of these really weird characters walking around in Sleepy Hollow, and they all act ridiculously suspicious the whole time. He gets close to the daughter, and the daughter is kind of a little bit, seems to be dabbling into witchcraft, which he's not into. It's kind of like him trying to figure out this mystery while also kind of struggling with his internal things of like, but I did science and the magic and the science and the magic, and it all ties in really well with his backstory. And in the end, well, you see what happens. It's a murder mystery. It's a little bit gory, but not super scary, I would say. I personally really liked it. I liked it a lot better than I remember it being. I had such a good time watching this. First of all, I really want to say how much I loved the aesthetic of the movie. It's so beautiful. I loved the use of color. For example, when Ichabod's on his way to Sleepy Hollow, you have this image of him in the carriage, but everything is kind of gray except for the red tones. Like, for example, the red of the carriage is like kind of enhanced. Things like that. Same thing whenever there's like blood going around. Everything looks gray, but the blood is like vivid, you know? There just seems to be like dust thrown over the movie color-wise. I don't know, it's so beautiful and aesthetically pleasing to me. Another example is when the carriage is going to Sleepy Hollow, and at the end of the movie, coming back from Sleepy Hollow, it looks like a painting. It's so beautiful. And I love the autumnness of it. It's a perfect autumn movie because of the scenery. It's really just an aesthetic movie, I would say. Johnny Depp plays this guy who just really wants to prove his point, but everything seems to be working against him, and that makes him for a very likable character. I love Johnny Depp's little mannerisms that he kind of does for every character he does. I know some people probably hate this about his acting, but like, it cracks me up. Like, whenever Johnny Depp is doing his like shocked surprise face and he goes like, or whenever he's trying to portray that his character is like disgusted by something, he has that face that he does. It's very iconic, and I enjoy it. And it also makes the movie really funny. Like, there's this scene where they found a body in the woods.
It's all right. I'm here now. Yes, I see. In headless corpse cases of this sort, the head is removed to prevent identification of the body.
But we know this was Jonathan Nesbitt.
Precisely. So why was the head removed?
Why?
Right. You have moved the body?
I did.
You must never move the body.
Why not?
Because.
The delivery of it makes me laugh. Everything he says is funny to me. Yeah, and I really like it. I like his delivery of everything in this. Except for one cheesy moment, which is coming up soon. Something I could really appreciate was just how well everything was developed. Like, all the plot points were so well set up. Like Ichabod's backstory, for example, is just really well developed, because I remember in the beginning thinking, oh, I wonder if we're gonna find out why he's such a sciencey guy, and like why he's saying this and why he's saying that, and like everything comes back in the end. Everything comes into play with the plot. It's just like little things, like you got the scars on his hands, or you've got like in the beginning when they show the Bible with the family tree in it, or the markings under Ichabod's bed. Like everything just connects, and that is probably the thing I enjoyed the most about this movie. Like that's why I could fully enjoy it, because it just, I just love it. I just love it. Everything just connects, you know. It's nice. There was one weird part where like Richard Griffiths just came in with the vaguest little tidbit of information. He's like, 4 graves, 5 bodies. I found Ichabod's reaction to that really like he just understood what was I had no idea what was going on. It was only like way later in the story that I realized what that was. I don't know, this movie is just like just the right amount of ridiculousness. From Ichabod examining a body and just like squirts of ketchup splattering his face, to Ichabod going out into the street like just drenched in blood, and just like these old Englishmen just looking at him like, it's funny. Oh my god. Or when Ichabod is like hacking away at this tree and just blood is just splurting out like crazy. It's just so ridiculous. I love it. I forgot how ridiculous this movie was. Like I remember it kind of being boring at times, but like I was not bored at all during this movie. It was great. And I know it's cliche, but I really like the like sciencey guy gets thrown into this supernatural world kind of thing. I really enjoy that, even though it's been done like 1,000 times. Like, it always works. It always works. Also, there was a huge focus on boobs. Was that just me? Like, there was just boobs everywhere. All the ladies had their boobs out. And I was just like, whoa. I kind of get it in a sense. Like, I think maybe they were trying to show the link between Ichabod's mom and Katrina. Because, like, both of them just had their boobs out the entire time. But then Katrina's stepmom also had her boobs out a lot. A lot of boobs. Wow. Also, I really like the scene at the end when they're being chased by the Headless Horseman and they're in the carriage and the Headless Horseman is on horseback behind them. And then the Headless Horseman gets on the carriage and Johnny Depp goes on the horse, and it's really well done, and it's a really good action scene. The scene in the mill, I think, could have been cut. I didn't really care for that. I don't know why that was there. Now, there's one moment I need to talk about. That was some bad lines. I'm sorry, but perhaps there is a bit of a witch in you, Katrina. Why do you say so? Because you bewitched me. I had to pause the video and just like stare into space for a little bit. What a line! What a line! Okay. Oh my god. And at the end, when Christopher Walken's back and he just like starts making out with the stepmom and just blood is dripping down their chin and she's screaming. I love this movie. It's so over the top. I just want to know what was going through people's heads when they were filming this. And then they jump into the tree and just like blood pours out. Like a sea of blood just comes out. This movie is so extra. I am so happy that I finally rewatched this movie. It's so much better than I thought it was, and yeah, this is gonna be a movie I'm gonna rewatch again for sure. I had a great time. I hope you had a great time listening to me talk about Sleepy Hollow. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend. A great movie for this time of year. Watch it with your friends. Have a good laugh, have a good spook. That's gonna be all for me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!